a little bit longer today because the 76ers just won their 12th straight game. 12! That is a dozen, fellas! A dozen games in a row. Before we begin, hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe, comment if you'd like to, because I enjoy speaking with you guys. And tonight they get it done. They go to Detroit. They have to play the Pistons without Blake Griffin being there. Still Dario not in the lineup, obviously. Embiid not in the lineup. And it was interesting by the end, no doubt about it. You had players like J.J. Reddick step up and have a hot night. I mean, you're talking about in the first quarter he had 13 points. He ended up with 25. I mean, he was so hot tonight. You had to keep feeding him. And after the game, he even got interviewed and said, this team is special. I mean, our young guys are just soaking up everything. Rashawn Holmes is stepping up big time, listening to everything that they're saying, the older veterans are saying, because Joel Embiid is out and you need someone like him to step in. He even brought energy. He had an alley-oop, 2 huge dunks. I mean, he brings the energy to the floor. He had a couple steals. He looks like me out there on the floor with those cookies stealing. I mean, that's the way I play. You even have J.J. Reddick at one point taking a charge, a 3-point shooter taking a charge. Now, that's really like me. I mean, if you're talking about me on the basketball court, outside on the driveway, I'm stepping in and taking that charge for sure. But J.J. Reddick even stepping in. Robert Covington with a few steals, a few threes. Ben Simmons, our leader of the crew, he ends up with 16.7 7 assists, 6 rebounds. He only played 32 minutes, and the final score was 115-108, and we dominated this game. I mean, at one point, we're 20-plus points in leading this team. And Detroit just kind of kept coming back and kept fighting and didn't give up. But that makes sense because if they lost tonight, they were eliminated from the playoffs. So, when you're up 20-plus points and the other team is playing to the extent of this is live and die mode, it's going to happen. Obviously, you didn't love to see it. That's something that we really haven't seen in a while for the Sixers. And coming up against the Cleveland Cavaliers next game, you don't love to see it, but it's okay. When we play the Cavs on Friday night, it's a totally different game. So right now with this W, we are now 2 full games over the Indiana Pacers. And if the Cleveland Cavaliers lose against the Washington Wizards, I believe they play tomorrow night, we are a half game up, and we will be in the 3rd seed. So right now we are dead tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And talk about an excitement for Friday's game. That is going to be so interesting. But we're talking about tonight's game. And Markelle Fultz had some time again tonight. He ended up playing 16 minutes, had 4 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. And his assists, his passing, it's special. It really is. He makes some really nice passes out there. I still feel that when he takes it to the rim, he does a spinorama, and he's a little long sometimes, and he's not used to the defenders. I say this in a lot of episodes recently about how I feel about Markelle Fultz, but I really do believe he has that skill set, and that's one of the things that J.J. Reddick praised him on. He said specifically, Markelle Fultz is a sponge. He soaks up everything. He wants to learn everything. He sat out those 68 games. He was learning every single day, and I love that. Ersan Ilyasova gives you a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds, the professional. That's what we like to call him, the professional. We are now the hottest team in the NBA with 12 straight wins. Oh my God. Bellinelli, 19 points, 4 of 7. He came up big. He had a huge 3 late in the game with about 2 minutes left when the Pistons kept surging and the Pistons kept coming. There was a turnover late in that game where if Stanley Johnson wide open 3 with about right under 2 minutes to go. And if he hit that 3, it would have been a 5-point game. I mean, they really did come close to tying that up. But the Sixers hold strong and they find a way. Looking at assists, I dare you to guess how many. Oh, that's right. 32. 32 assists once again for the 76ers team. 11 steals. Always doing great on the defensive side. Only 13 turnovers. Do you remember when we were sit here and watch this team play and turn the ball over miserably, and we were saying, oh, this team's young. They're just young. They got to learn. 13 turnovers. That's it. And we scored 26 points off their turnovers, and they only scored 8 off ours. So, I mean, come on. That's a fantastic thing to see. Shooting the three-point wise, 43% from 3. Love to see that. And I enjoyed the game tonight. Now, obviously, the fourth quarter was a little bit different, but we're playing on a back-to-back. Like, we just played the Brooklyn Nets, and now here we go. We're going back-to-back right into the Pistons. So, I mean, it's a tough situation, and the fourth quarter wasn't ideal, and I get that. But at the end of the day, I sang this victory song before the episode kicked off, and that's my favorite thing ever to do. We got the W. 12 straight wins. 48-30, fellas. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm sitting here. I just watched a Philadelphia Phillies team not win again today, but I was like, oh, when that game ended, I have an hour. I have an hour until the Sixers start. I have an hour until I see Mark Zumoff on TV talk about Ben Simmons, and then I have about 10 minutes after that until I see Ben Simmons dribbling the ball up the floor. Just awesome. Player of the game, though. Player of the game, obviously, goes to J.J. Reddick. He really stepped up. He was hot. He shot 10 of 13, 5 of 7 from 3. He also contributed 6 assists. He played very well. Amir Johnson almost had a double-double, 9 points, 10 rebounds. He's been stepping in there with the veteran presence, doing his thing like we need him to without Joel Embiid. And Brett Brown has been saying, we're just buying time. We are just buying time for Joel Embiid to get healthy, and we're not losing while we're buying this time, and that makes it sweeter. But let's be real, fellas. We have a big one. The biggest of the year. Not that every game that is next is not the biggest of the year. Like when you're going into a game tonight, before the game started, the biggest game of the year, Detroit Pistons. But this one really has that feel to it, fellas. I mean, we're fighting with LeBron James and a good-looking Cavalier squad. They've been struggling early on in the season. They're kind of in a rhythm right now. So, it's a big one. It's a big one. We need that home court advantage, boys. We need it. So with that being said, hit the thumbs up for the 12 in a row. Comment, subscribe. It's going to be a hell of a ride, fellas, and I am ready for this. I am so ready for it. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.